With record inflation this year and the Great Resignation, many workers have been blessed to receive greater than usual pay raises and increases in this season. And if that's you, this video is definitely for you. There was a recent article that came out that showed that US companies are expecting to pay employees about 3.4% more in wages this year. So we are definitely in an interesting season and time of life. And so in this video, we want to make sure that we are making the best decisions we can with that extra money. So what do we do with the extra dough? That's what we're discussing in this video.
Hey wealth builders, my name is Mishak.
And I'm Akiva.
And welcome back to another episode of The Bemused. On this channel, we talk about all things personal finance for young adults just like you and us.
So if you're into that kind of thing, go on ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. And while you're at it, click the notification bell so you never miss when we post new valuable content just like this video right here. And also don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who may value this information. Now let's get into the episode.
So when we ask what's the best thing we can do with our pay raise, we're really asking what is the best way that I can use these funds? Should I put it towards debt? Should I put it towards my sinking fund? If you don't know, I highly recommend that you take our quiz that will be linked in the description box down below. That'll hopefully help you make a decision.
And if you want to dive super deep with us, right? You're just like, I don't even know where to start. I need help. I need a money mentor. Let me be your money mentor, okay? Check out Money 180. That is our signature program where I hold your hand and we tackle all these money things. So link to that will also be in the description box below. Before discussing exactly what's the right thing we should be doing with our money, one thing we want to caution against is lifestyle creep. Maybe you've heard of this term before, but that's something we definitely want to avoid, where every time we make more money, we magically find a new way to spend more money, right? Not saying you shouldn't spend any of it, we'll get into that, but what we really want to avoid is lifestyle creep, because it's very easy that if you don't have a plan for extra money, it's gonna find a way out. It's gonna find a way out of your hand. So we want to make sure we're avoiding lifestyle creep at all costs. Really, the whole goal of this is to be intentional when it comes to our money. If you intentionally spend it, that's one thing, but we don't just want it to fly away because you didn't create a plan for it and stuff just comes up. So the whole goal of this is to spend money and make intentional decisions around what we want to do with our money. So with that being said, here are 6 common things or ideas or suggestions that you might consider as to what to do when you have a raise or an increase in what you are bringing home.
So the first item is building an emergency fund. And I'm pretty sure you knew we were going to say that if you've been following this channel for a long time. And it's definitely not a cliche thing to do. I think that when you are increasing your earnings, that is the perfect time for you to stop and think, okay, is my emergency fund now matching what I need, right? You're making more money. You may or may not decide, well, okay, I'm making more, so I'm going to add on this bill. Maybe I'm going to get a new phone, I'm going to treat myself. But now you need to be able to afford that if God forbid you lose your job. So something smart that you may consider doing is saying, well, all right, I'm going to put aside that money for a year. I'm going to put that into an account so that I'm able to spend, I'm able to pay that bill off rather if something were to happen to my income.
Yeah, emergency funds are definitely not the sexiest of goals. It's not the flashy, exciting thing that all the kids are trying to do these days, but it is a fundamental piece of everybody's financial health and picture, and it is a great fallback in the event that something inevitably happens, because life, right? It happens. So building up your emergency fund, topping up your emergency fund is a great way to use any additional money that you have. The second thing you might choose to do with your increased income might be to fund some of your sinking funds. Now, what are sinking funds? Basically, that's money that you save with the intention of spending. So this is different from an emergency fund or something else where the intention is truly saving. Your sinking funds are there to put money aside with the intention of eventually spending it. So things like putting money aside to pay a bill that only comes once a year, or putting down money to spend for Christmas presents, or putting down money you're saving for a down payment on a house. So the point is eventually that money gonna get spent. So those are sinking funds. So whatever your goals are that you need to feed, that you might want to put a little bit money aside for proactively, you might choose to use any increases that you have in your income to help fund those items.
And I'm telling you, this is something that even Akiva and I do. Most of us who turn 26, it's something like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm off my parents' health insurance. But that's something to think about, is those costs. You know, for me in particular, after looking at those plan documents, I found out that I needed to put aside $1,500 if something happened to me, because that was going to be my out-of-pocket cost. I know that it's coming, you know, if I get ill or sick or anything like that, so why not put it down? So if something happens, we don't have to worry, oh my goodness, where's it gonna come from? It's already there.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect example that actually, you know, we're actually applying to our lives.
Right.
The third item is paying down debt.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, it's the thing that we all, you know, don't necessarily love, but it's definitely something that we got to think about, right? If you have some newfound funds and if you were living off of your previous income and making things work, now you know, you might be reassessing and saying, well, hey, I have an extra $300 a month, an extra $400, $500 if you're lucky, depending on what your raise is. It might be a better use of funds for you to take that extra cash and put it towards your debt, whether that may be a car loan, student loans, medical bills, whatever it is. It might profit you to do that as opposed to keeping it going for a longer period of time and paying more interest, which is costing you more money over time. So that's something to think about.
Not saying that you gotta use every penny to pay off debt. We're not those people. As y'all know, we are not those people. But if paying down debt is something that is highest and best use for you and your current financial situation, then definitely go for it. The fourth thing you might decide to do is to increase your investment contributions or your retirement plan contributions. So with your newfound money, you might say, okay, well, I was living, I had my plan, I'm doing good. Maybe your debt is manageable or you're debt free, for example, and your highest and best use right now is putting more money into the markets. Definitely take this time to increase those contributions, because the more you get used to having that money in your hand, the less and less likely it'll be that you're actually going to want to put it away, especially for something long-term like retirement or long-term investing. So that's definitely something you want to do from the start. Increase those contributions automatically. Automations are your friend, so that you can use that extra money to power your future. Okay, future, you will thank you. This is personally something that I just did the other day. I recently got a raise as well, and so I used some of that money to increase my retirement contributions for the first time since I've started working full-time, because now, you know, we're doing a little bit better on our debt repayment journey. We're getting closer and closer. So now highest and best use for us is now switching more from debt repayment and more into the markets and different priorities that we have. So as a personal anecdote, that's something that I just did with my recent raise.
The next thing that you might want to consider is increasing your giving. So if you're like us, we contribute 10% of our gross income towards tithes. And that is something that is, you know, our religious belief. But others, it might be something else. You might want to give to a charity that you know, have a connection to. You might want to give to, anything, you know.
Family, friends, giving to other people. So, you know, if you are at a point now where you got everything else locked and loaded, you know, you're on a good trajectory for yourself in terms of your financial health, that's when we can start pouring from a fuller cup, right? Once your cup is a little bit fuller, you can start to maybe think about giving more money away, right? It should never be like a tax motivated thing, as some people think, you know, I'll give my money to charity to get a tax write-off. No, this should be a moral thing. That's our belief system anyway. Should be something coming from the heart. But if that is your conviction and your desire, you can definitely think about increasing your giving. And the last suggestion is to do something fun, all right? Personal finance should not be this boring, restrictive thing that you should put every penny into the markets. I'm sure y'all have seen those memes and people with them shame posts on the internet talking about, well, if you had just put this $5 into the S&P 500 instead of going out to lunch or whatever, like, ridiculous. You know, we're not going to necessarily put every single penny to highest and best use, because sometimes highest and best use means taking care of yourself, right? We got one earthly life to live, and we also have to make room for us to enjoy our lives. So you also can decide to put a portion of it, yes, be smart with most of it, put it toward your financial goals. However, yes, reserve some of that for yourself, right? And whether that is, I'm not saying that you have lifestyle creep where you're adding on another bill, but it could be like a one-time thing where it's like, okay, well, this year maybe we can squeeze in another vacation, you know, something that wouldn't affect you, you know, if there was an emergency situation where it's really like an obligation. It could be like a one-time treat that you decide to do for yourself to enjoy your life, okay?
And it could be a product as well, you know, like me, I'm a techie, so if I had some extra money, I might be putting it towards some nice new shiny tech. But whatever your fancy, that is a-okay. We're definitely not trying to shame people who do that, where I'm cutting out coffee out of my routine so that I can put that extra $1 a day towards whatever. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. We're just saying that we think that there's a more holistic and well-rounded approach to money and to life, and you want to make sure that you are getting the most out of it. And that will vary person to person because this is personal finance. So for you, it might be cutting it out and putting it towards investing. For us, it might be doing something completely different. But I think the most important thing is to make sure that we're all meeting our milestones and goals that we have set for our personal finance journey.
Touche. So those are just 6 general suggestions, things that you might consider when thinking about what to do with the extra money that you might be blessed to have. Once again, if you are interested in potentially working with us to achieve your financial goals, learn more about money in a more structured way, we are here to help guide you through that. We actually have a free training for you on the 3 myths that can destroy your finances based on our personal, professional, all types of experience. If you've been around, if you know, you know our backstory. So if you're interested in watching that, learning more about our value system and how we might be able to work together, the link to that will also be in the description box below.
So thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss when we post new content just like this one. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.